Hello, this is Dunedine, and in today's video I'm going to talk a bit about BFA, and I'm going to try to compare it a bit with Classic. So, I didn't script this video, so it will probably sound like me rambling a bit about BFA, and you will probably think I hate BFA, which I don't really. I do not think it's a very good game, but I still play it. The reason I play it, I will start with that, is that I don't want to be burned out from playing classic WoW on private servers. I don't even know if I will get burned out, but I just don't want to take the risk. I've been playing it for several years, and I never been burned out, but I want to keep it fresh when Classic finally releases. So in the meantime, I'm playing BFA because I really like playing WoW, so that's the only option we have really. Now there are a lot of things that I really don't like from BFA. That doesn't mean I hate the game as a whole, but it are definitely things I think were better in Classic. Let's first start with the leveling experience. The leveling experience is extremely boring in BFA, I will just say it like that. The positive thing is the zones are pretty nice, they are beautiful, but you don't get to appreciate it because you have this quest helper thing from Blizzard. So you go to a zone, you click on, or you go to a quest hub in a zone, you click on the quest giver, he gives you 1, 2, 3 quests in the surrounding of that zone. But you don't need to read the quest at all, you don't need to find them for yourself, because Blizzard just tells you where to go, look at your minimap, it's there, you don't need to do anything, just follow the arrows. Now, what does this mean? It means that actually after a few hours in a certain zone, you went from the quest hub to quest hub, and you don't even know where you are on the map, and it's really strange. If you're playing in Classic or in Vanilla WoW, you really get to explore the zone, you get to experience it, you get to appreciate it. If you play in BFA, you just go to the quest hub and you rush to the place which is marked on your minimap, you kill everything, you go back and you repeat, and that's basically it. So you can do an entire zone and you don't know how it looks, basically. That's my feeling anyway. So that's kind of a shame, because they put a lot of work in the zones, in how they look, and no one really cares. Then another big thing about the leveling is there's no progression at all. If you start from 110, which you probably do if you have just bought BFA, you get the character boost. So if you start from 110, you literally gain 10 levels without gaining anything. You don't gain a new talent, you don't gain new moves, you don't even get stronger, because the world around you is scaling. That means if you're level 112 and you level to 113, everything around you levels to 113. So there's nothing you gain from leveling, nothing at all, and that's just extremely boring. I would rather skip the leveling completely, because now it's just a time sink, and who cares really? Yeah, something I would like to say about Classic is that I think Classic is probably the best part, considering leveling, because in Classic you have this open world, and you kind of need to figure it out for yourself. From the Burning Crusade on, you kind of more have this streamlined questing process, which you don't have in Vanilla WoW, and it only got worse really in BFA and every expansion in between. So leveling is really bad. Then you have dungeons. If you think of dungeons in Vanilla WoW, you are basically forming a group, talking to the people, and try to solve the puzzle, which is the dungeon, together on a slow but steady pace. I rather go slow through dungeon than too fast, because I enjoy that slow pace. and in BFA it's actually the complete opposite. So the pace is way too high in my opinion. There's nothing to solve, you just run in, clear everything ASAP. There are too many mechanics in my opinion on the bosses, which is probably weird to say, but you kind of have to read the in-game manual on the bosses if you don't have deadly boss mods, which everyone probably has, but still. And also the Mythic Plus, which is usually talked about as a good thing, in my opinion it's a really bad thing, because what you are basically doing is you are doing timed runs, and I just said I don't like high-paced dungeon runs, so what the fuck, why do you time the runs? What's the fun in that? I thought if you make it harder, it would probably take longer, and you kind of have this puzzle again to solve. That's not true, you just rush through it again. So I don't like the dungeons, basically. The raids, I do like the raids in BFA. Do I like him as much as in vanilla? I don't know, they are different, but raiding is still fine. Raiding is okay. There's one big problem with raiding, but that's an old problem, and that's there are way too many difficulty levels. And I even skipped normal mode, so I just went straight to heroic mode. I didn't really do a lot in Raid Finder either, but now I've killed every boss in heroic mode, and I don't feel like I need to do mythic because I killed them all already. There's nothing for me left to do in mythic. The fun is gone. We've killed the last boss, and yeah, it's a shame. I hate multiple difficulty levels. I hate it, really. It sucks. Then we have class design. It's a very big topic in my opinion. Class design is way worse in BFA than it was in vanilla WoW, in my opinion, again. Let's take the mage as an example, because that's what I'm playing now. I'm a Frost Mage, and I picked Frost Mage because it looked, from when I did some research, it looked like it was somewhat like the Frost Mage in vanilla WoW. You still have Frostbolt as your main spell, basically. Now the difference is, in vanilla Frostbolt is really your main damage output. In BFA, Frostbolt is actually something you spam, but it doesn't deal damage at all. It's very low damage, and what it does is it gives you procs from other spells which deal higher damage. Now one of those procs is Glacial Spike, and that ability alone is about 25% of your total damage output in a raid fight, which is really stupid because it's an ability you use like once every 30 seconds. So once every 30 seconds you do 25% of your entire damage in the raid fight, which it's ridiculous, really. I don't like that kind of style. You have low damage, then you have some spikes of high damage, and what you're basically doing is you try to do your rotation as good as you can, even if that means you have to stand in mechanics. Your damage goes way down if you miss that one ability, for example. I don't like that kind of system. It's probably me, but I don't think it's good. Also, the talents are really boring. You just go to Wowhead, you check which is the best talent build, and basically you don't even read the talent, you just pick him. It's stupid. Also, between specs you have little difference in my opinion. Let's say you go Arcane, what changes? My rotation changes, I use mana this time. I forgot to tell, but Frost Mages, they have a mana bar. Their spells cost mana, but it's always at 100%, which is also ridiculous. But then Arcane Mages, what's the difference? Basically, it's just your rotation is different. Other than that, I don't see a difference, so it's exactly the same for me. I would even argue that playing a warrior would probably feel almost exactly the same as playing a mage. The only difference is I'm standing in melee range with my warrior, and I'm standing in, on a bigger range with my mage. That's basically it, because both are just trying to follow the rotation which they looked up at Wowhead, and nothing else really. So I feel like classes miss the identity they really had in Classic. That's also a bad thing. Now you get used to it somewhat. So in the beginning I thought it was really bad. Now I think it's kind of fine. But if I can choose, please give me the Classic, or maybe even the Burning Crusade system. But I'm really fine with the Classic system. Then next up are professions. Now there's not much to say about professions, because professions are not very important in BFA. They are pretty useless for the most part, and if they are not useless, they are very, very boring. You have almost nothing to learn, so, well, it's a missed opportunity. I really like professions in vanilla. I like professions in the Burning Crusade as well. There is something to work to. It's sometimes even one of my favorite things in WoW, and it's just completely gone, almost completely gone in BFA. Then we have sharding. Sharding is also a big one. Sharding is so stupid. If you're out in the world and you're doing a world boss, for example, you click on that button to join a group. Now, right before you click on that button, you're next to the world boss. There are like 5 people standing next to you, waiting to form a group. You click that button, what happens? The people disappear. 42 people are popping up on your screen, the world boss disappears, and what happens? A new instance of that world boss appears, which is almost halfway dead already. You just cast one frostbolt, it dies, you get your loot, leave the group, and what happens? You don't see the other 40 people anymore, and we're back in a new shard with 10 other random people. What the fuck did you do, Blizzard? Why? What's the point in sharding? This is an MMO we are playing. What's the point in playing with random people you don't even ever are, you're never going to see again? It's ridiculous. There's nothing more I would like to add about sharding. That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in an MMO. Next up, new features. BFA has some new features. Most commonly known are the Wharf Rounds, which are shit, and island expeditions, which are also shit. They are both boring. The first one gets you a free piece of gear, and the second one gets you Azerite power, which is also some artifact power. Sorry. No, it's Azerite artifact power, whatever. It's also something new. Now, the artifact power is, in my opinion, somewhat okay. It gives you a kind of progression in a sense, but the bad thing is in the next patch there will be a catch-up system, and all the time I invested now in leveling that artifact power, I will probably be able to do that in a few minutes once the catch-up system is there. So that feels bad. I don't like those catch-up systems. They've always been there in one way or another, but how they did it in Legion and how they do it now, it's over the top in my opinion. So what else is good from BFA, you might ask? Well, the best thing in my opinion are the beautiful zones, which you start to appreciate once you do the world quests, which is maybe somewhat weird, because well, you should be able to appreciate it while doing normal quests, in my opinion. But world quests, I don't really like the obligation to do them, but they make you go out in the world, and that's kind of okay, I guess. And then also the main Alliance city, I like it. It's really nice, it's well made, the music is good. That's pretty much the best thing in BFA, in my opinion, together with raiding, probably. That's not to say that I don't like the world in Classic. The world in Classic is very nice. It's Stormwind is also a beautiful city, but the new Alliance main city, Borealis, it's up there. It's really good. Okay, that's about all I have to say. I'm sorry if it came over, if it was too much of a ramble. I'm sorry I didn't script it, but that's kind of the point of these videos. And for the future, I will be making some new videos on Classic WoW, but I would like to have the ability to use classic footage. So I hope we can use it soon, but we will see. I will also try to finish my which class to play series, but I don't know when yet, so you will see when it's ready. I hope you enjoyed it and have a nice day.